Hey everyone, Ontario Rail here. In this episode of Engines of CN, I'll be discussing the GP40-2LW and 2W requested by New Brunswick Railfanner. Before I begin, I'd like to hear what you guys want to see from the next Engines of CN. Just enter it in the comment section below, and the locomotive with the most requests will be done next. Thanks for your contribution. The GP40 is one of, if not the most reliable 4-axle road switcher to ever grace the rails in North America, with most being rebuilt into GP40-2s and GP40-3s. You can see just how reliable and important these engines are to railways. However, CN took a different approach to the GP40 with the help of General Motors diesel. In 1974, the all-new Canadian exclusive GP40-2LW was unveiled from the GMD shops in London, Ontario. Railfanners and the railroad community were thrilled to get this locomotive native to Canada, and often referred to these models as GP40-2W or GP40-2LW, which I'll get into next, to differentiate these units between the standard EMT GP40s. The W is used to represent the iconic Canadian white cap found on several units. The first 3 orders would all be for the GP40-2LW model, and CN started to take delivery of these units during March 1974. A total of 91 units numbered 9400 to 9490 were delivered by September 1974. Part of this batch was delivered with higher speed gearing. Then, a second batch of 40 more, numbered 9491 to 9530, were delivered between September and November 1974. And the last of the orders, of 102 GP40-2LWs, numbered 9531 to 9632, were delivered between February and October 1975. CN would eventually have a total of 233 GP40-2LWs on their roster. CN would receive 35 of the GP40-2Ws between March and May of 1976, their numbers being 9633 to 9667. Government of Ontario Transit, better known as GO Transit, was the only other buyer of the GP40-2W. Oddly, the 10 units provided to GO Transit did not come with a head and power or AGP generator to provide heat at the time. Thus, other engines that could provide head and power, like the F40PH or an 800 series APU unit, had to be used during the winter. Interestingly enough, the engines just mentioned were the ones that GO Transit were trying to replace. GO Transit would lease these units out to Canadian Pacific, or better known as CP, for the weekends for freight service, as they were all in all GP40-2Ws. The engines would see service on the Toronto to Windsor route and the Toronto to Montreal route. All Canadian Pacific would have to do is get them back before the morning rush on Monday. CN would go on to acquire the 10 GP40-2Ws from GO Transit in 1991, with the F59 PH replacing the old F40PHs, the GP40-2Ws, the GP40TC, and the nearly 30-year-old F units. GO Transit, the only other buyer of this model, used the GP40-2Ws in commuter service all around Toronto area and numbered their units 700 to 710. All excluding 703, which was sold off to Tri-Rail, were sold to CN and would be renumbered 9668 to 9677. This would bring the total of CN's GP40-2W fleet to 45, and the grand total for the 2 models to 278, giving CN all the GP40-2Ws built except the ones sold to Tri-Rail. The difference between the GP40-2 and the 2LW is the cab. The GP40-2LW's cab sits 2 inches taller, though it's barely noticeable unless you really take a look at it. The GP40-2W series had 3,000 horsepower with a Canadian comfort cab, an EMD 645E 316-cylinder engine, and a top speed of 105 km per hour, or 65 miles per hour. The engine measures 59 feet 2 inches in length, 10 feet 4 inches in width, and 15 feet 5 inches, or 15 feet 7 inches in height, which is the same as the GP40-2. They come in at 250,000 pounds and are equipped with a Nathan K3 horn. Here's a few samples. A few of these special units still remain with CN as of June 2022, with many of them taken out of Class 1 service and bumped down to local duties instead of the high priority intermodal services it used to work on. With GO Transit, well, there are none left. CN's GP40-2Ws were such an important engine for the railroad. From high priority intermodal service in the early 80s to yard jobs in and out of major rail hubs, the Jeeps can still be seen today on the local service at switching out yards. With CN not having many switcher engines, these engines are still in use as of June 2022 and have worn 3 of CN's many liveries. As for Tri-Rail, the only other operator of the GP40-2W, it's been long retired. I'd like to give a quick shout out to New Brunswick Railfanner for giving the idea of making a video on this engine. And one more announcement, thank you guys all so much for the support you have given me to this channel. By the time this video is out, the channel will have well over 220 subscribers, so thank you. Click up here on the right to watch a previous episode of Engines of CN. Click up here on the left to see my latest upload, and then click on the icon to subscribe to my channel. This is Ontario Road 12, and thank you all so much for watching.